I'm Dan Quadras, and today I'm going to go over wrapping our shop van. I'm going to go over the design, the preparation, and the installation. So first, let's talk about what a wrap really is. A vehicle wrap is literally wrapping your vehicle in graphic vinyl. A lot of people get scared off by the idea because it is a very big commitment. It costs some money to do it, and it is your vehicle that you're changing. Now, it's not permanent, it can be taken off, but it's still something that you have to live with every day. So you want to make sure it looks good and it does what it's supposed to do. The main purpose of a vehicle wrap is advertisement. A lot of times contractors like plumbers, electricians, AVHC guys, they get their vehicle wrapped so when they go to the job site, on their way there, while they're there, people see who they are, what they do, and it makes them look really professional. Any wrap consists of three elements: the design, the prep, and the installation. And all three are just as important. You could have a really good design, but if it's not installed correctly, it doesn't look so good. You could have a great installation, but if the design doesn't hit the mark, it's kind of for naught. And the preparation is probably the most important, because if it's not prepped properly, it's not going to last. So let's first go over the design. Step 1, design. Here I have the template of my van, and it's a very accurate template, and it works really well as a tool because when you bring your vehicle in, I could use a template, show you what your wrap is going to look like before we even do anything, and it really works to get the image across of what it's going to look like. So as I said, this is the template of my van. Now the first thing I'm going to do, I don't want a white van, so I'm going to wrap it in a material that's called matte black sparkle. It's a wrapping film. And now what's cool about stuff like this is that you could wrap your entire vehicle in a solid color. And it's an alternative to painting. This way, if you ever want to sell the car, you can take it off. And there's also certain types of finishes that you just can't get with the paint that you can do with the wrap. So that being said, I'm going to wrap my vehicle first in that, and then it's going to act as the base, kind of like a paint coat, and then I'm going to design on top of that. So here I have my design element, and I designed it to look like black brushed aluminum. I think that's kind of a cool look. Then I'm going to add this little accent piece here, kind of break it up. Then I'm going to put the information, my name, and then I'm going to put my logo, website, and phone number. So now if you see here, it's a really nice, clean design. It does not splash with crazy colors, not too much imagery to pull your eye away from the important things. I have the name, which is important, how to contact me, and my logo. I think it's clean, it's sharp, and I'm going to go with this. So now that the design is done, we're going to go on to printing, prepping, and then installing. Okay, the next step is the prep. Now what exactly is that? You want to clean the entire vehicle, get all the mud, the dirt, the dust. If it has any wax on it, you got to make sure to get the wax off because you want the vinyl to stick to the paint. Anything that's in between the paint and the vinyl, it's not going to stick as good because it's sticking to the surface, whatever's on top of it. So you got to make sure it's nice and clean, that way the vinyl sticks and it lasts and it's good. Now that's the easy part. The next step, you have a lot of trim on vehicles. You have the door handles, you have the mirrors, you have little trim pieces. Now all this comes off. A lot of guys don't do it for several reasons, whether they need the vehicle in and out quickly, they don't have time, or sometimes they just don't know how to do it and they're afraid. Here we have the know-how how to take all this apart, wrap the vehicle, put it all back on. Now why is that better? If you were to put just vinyl on here and trim, over time this all moves in the heat and in the cold, it expands and contracts. Then what happens, the vinyl starts to lift, then you get dirt on that vinyl, it'll never stick again, it doesn't look good, it looks unprofessional, and it compromises the longevity of the wrap. So we make sure to take all that off, put the vinyl on, put it all back on, then you have a nice, fit, clean, sharp finish. The third phase of the wrap is the installation. Now this by far is the most time-consuming part of the wrap. It's very detail-oriented, there's a lot of trimming, tucking, wrapping, heating, pulling. It usually takes about 1 to 2 days to fully complete it. So we'll start, I'll show you the door, how we'll take off all the pieces, and show you what it's like to put the vinyl on it and the pieces back and why that's important. And then afterwards I'll just show you a quick view of, putting on the vinyl and then an overview of the whole wrap and what it looks like. If you look, I removed the door handle, all the weather stripping and the trim, where the mirror used to be, that little trim piece. If you look close, you could see where the old rubber used to end. And that's normally where it gets trimmed to. The only problem is it'll start lifting because that rubber will push against it. This way it could wrap all the way to the inside, and when I put the rubber back on,
Not only does it help hold it in place, but there's no cut mark here. So it stays in place and stays all nice and has a nice good finish and won't lift. Now that the vinyl's on, you can see just how far it goes into this door trim and just how much of it is going to be covered by the rubber. But this way, it ensures that it stays on even though the rubber trim goes back on, it's not going to lift. So there's no cut line. Now with the door handle and trim back in, you can really see why it's so important. If you look all around, everything is tucked way back and all the pieces cover it. That way there's no chance of any white showing, which would really ruin the look of the wrap. This way it's nice, clean, sharp, and it'll stay on. Alright, now here's the finished vehicle. Now I showed you the steps of designing it, prepping it, and some of the installation, how the door, all the trim came off and wrapping around that, the shot of me putting on the vinyl, and here let's just kind of take a look at the finished product. So here's the hood. I have it wrapped with that same black material with some graphics over it and some accent pieces. On the side we have the logo. Then we have the back, which continues with that black brushed aluminum look. The CuadGraphics on top of it. And here's the back.
So there you have it. All the ins and outs of a wrap, from the design, to the prep, to the installation. I hope this video was very informative for you. If you had any questions about what a vehicle wrap actually was, I hope this answered them. If you have any further questions or if you would like us to wrap one of your vehicles, please feel free to call me personally. The number here at the shop is 860-430-9972. Have a great day.